All right, this is a video for session 1.1 of tutorial 1. To get started, we need to go to those files that you downloaded during the first week, those data files. And in that, you're going to have basically a folder for each module in the book. Now, we will use some of these modules throughout this course, but we will not use all of them, okay? But the first one that we are going to use is the one that says data 01. Notice that they are numbered by the module number. So module 3 is down here, 4, 5, etc. So we'll go ahead and click on that. Now, these do come in compressed zipped folders. So you may have to unzip those files. And we're going to click on HTML01. And then in this section, you have multiple folders available. These are just different projects that the book has that we can do. The one that we're actually going to do, though, is the tutorial. So my suggestion is to right click on that file. All right. And you can like copy it and move it somewhere else if you want to, or you can just leave it in this folder. However works best for you is fine with me. I'm going to copy mine out and move it to my desktop just for the purposes of this video. I think it's a little bit easier than having everything so deeply nested in all these folders. But however you want to do it, it's perfectly fine. So I'm going to copy it, all right, and paste it over here on my desktop. And what I want you to do is rename it and add a number. You see I've added a number 1 after it. I want you to add a number 1 after tutorial. So you got tutorial 1 in its own folder. That'll make it a lot easier for you. All right, and go ahead and open that folder. And you are going to have a list here of all of the different, some of the different pages that we're going to use throughout this tutorial, not just for session 1, but also for sessions 2 and 3. Basically, everything we'll use for tutorial 1 is in here. Some of these include like photos. You'll see photos here. You've got some text files that we'll be copying. You've got some CSS files that we'll be linking. So you see a whole bunch of different things that are in this folder. All right, now I am following along as we start this project. I'm following along in your book. I am not going to share that on my screen because y'all can follow along with that. I think it's easier for you to just see my whole screen instead of me trying to split my screen and show both at the same time. So the very first thing that the book wants us to do is to open the CT_start file. All right, so what I want you to do, the very first one is to open it. We want to use Notepad++ to open that. So I'm going to right click. You notice right now it's got the Google Chrome logo here. So if I just click on it, it's going to open it in Google Chrome. We want to open it in Notepad++. So let's right click on that file. And I'm going to click on the option here that says edit with Notepad++. Okay. And it's going to pull up the editor for me so that I can see. Now, for this particular element of the project, all we're doing is just looking over the code and just sort of trying to get familiar with what it's got in there. So you'll see some of the things that you read about in the book. You've got the doc type declaration up here. Here are your head tags there. Your body is between here. You've got a footer. So that just gives you an overview of some of the things. We've got some pictures that will be displayed here and links to certain pages that we're going to create. Okay, so that's just a general overview of what we've got. We also have up here links to our style sheets for the CSS files that we have. So it just gives you an overview, a broad overview of the things that we're going to have in this document. Okay, now the next thing that they want you to do is actually, if you're flipping over, following along in the book, the next thing they want us to do is open it up in the web browser. So let's go back to our folder, and we're just going to click on that CT_start file and open it up in the web browser. And so you'll sort of see what it looks like code-wise versus what we have in the web browser. You see where they had the pictures. These are links to the various pages that we're getting ready to create. And we have it linked to various pictures, and you saw that in the code just a few minutes ago. There's that footer that we looked at down here at the bottom. All right. You can't really see visually the style sheets where they were linked, but granted that's what makes the page look the way it does. All right. We'll talk a lot more about that coming up. So don't worry about that too much right now. All right. So let's go ahead and flip over. More in the book. We want to start actually writing our code now. So let's go back to Notepad++. And what we're going to do is open a blank file. Notice over here that they do have a few files created for us, really just the start file. The others are text that we can copy in when we get to those pages. So I'll show you all about that as we go through the tutorial. All right, but we do need to start our own file here. So let's go to File and New, and it's going to create a brand new file for you. Right now it says New One. All right, so let's go and save that. So we'll have that as a new file for us. Let's go File, Save As. And it's already, be sure that it's in your tutorial 1 folder that it's saving it. It looks like to me that most likely yours probably is already defaulted to that, but just in case, be sure. And we want to save it as CT_about.html. CT_about.html. That's what we want to save it as. And I'm going to click Save. All right, and that file has saved for us. If we go back to our folder over here, you'll see up here at the top, there's the file that we just created. So we did save it. All right, now what they want us to type first is just a basic outline, really, of our code structure. So we'll go ahead and start typing our information. We're going to type our doc type declaration up here at the top. Okay, so dot type HTML. We're going to come below that and type in HTML space lang equals, and then a quote en and a close quote on that. All right, and we're going to skip down a line, or 2 lines actually, and we're going to add in our head tag. And on the very next line, we're going to close our head tag, and we'll of course add more code in here as we go along. And we're going to skip down to 2 more lines. We're going to do a body open tag, and then we're going to do a body close tag. And then we're going to skip down 2 more lines, and we're going to close that HTML tag in there. So that's not too hard at this point. You can go ahead and save that if you want to, just to save your changes. So we're really not doing too many changes there right up at the front. Just getting that basic code structure settled. All right, and if you flip over to the next item that we're supposed to do, is we need to insert the title of the document. So we're going to do that within the head tag. So I'm going to click right after the opening head tag up there. You can press your enter button, and we can go ahead and tab in if you want to. It's a good idea to start making, I always say, making your code look pretty. Sometimes that's not necessarily required, but once we get into these really long documents, the files that we're creating in this first tutorial are not that long. But once we get into having those longer tutorials and longer documents, you will really appreciate having the stuff indented appropriately. All right, so I am going to add a title tag right now. And the title that we want to use is about curbside tie. So about curbside tie. And we're going to use the closing title tag after that. Okay. And that's just going to add in about curbside tie as our title for that project. All right, I'll go ahead and save changes once again, just to be sure that we're saving everything that we need. All right, the next thing that we want to do is add in metadata. That's also going to be within our head area up here. So go ahead and create another line right above title. Be sure that it's aligned appropriately with title. And we're going to call this meta, so M-E-T-A. And then I want you to type charset, so C-H-A-R-S-E-T equals. Okay, and we're going to do UTF-8. And we're going to close the quotations on that. And then we're going to do a space. I'm going to do a slash and close that tag. So we're adding that character encoding in there with that we just added. And then we also, on the very next line, so go ahead and hit enter. And we're going to add another meta element there. And this time we want to add basically keyword information so that a search engine would pick it up. So let's go ahead and add meta once again. And we're going to type in name this time equals, and then open your quote. And we're going to say key words. Okay. And what we're saying is telling the web browser that these are the keywords that we want the browser to find. Go ahead and hit enter and tab over so that you're about under name right there. It might not exactly be aligned appropriately, but you can get the best you can. And we're going to say content equals, and open quote, we're going to do tie, so T-H-A-I, comma, restaurant, comma, Charlotte, comma, and food. All right, and close the quote on that, do a space, and we'll do our slash and close that tag. All right, go ahead and save those changes. And let's go back over here and open the about page. We haven't opened that yet, so go ahead and find that file and open it. Right now, it should be blank. You really shouldn't have anything in your document at this point. But up here at the top of your web browser, you should have about curbside tie on that. That's what we just put in for the title tag. You won't really see that meta data that we put in for the search for keywords. You won't really see that on this document. That's more for a search engine thing. So we'll talk a lot more about it, and your book talks about it as well. But that's not something you'll really see displayed on your document. And of course, we're getting ready to add some text in here. So you'll see that in just a second. So let's switch back over to Notepad++ again. All right. And right after that head tag, we want to add in a comment. So I'm going to tab in one, and I'm going to do an opening. We're going to use an open basically for like we would do a regular tag. Okay, but we're going to do a comment. So to code that, we're going to do an exclamation point, and then we're going to do hyphen hyphen. Okay, and that's going to say that everything that's after that opening part of this tag is in the comment. So it's not real code. I shouldn't say it's not real code, but it's not something that the web browser is going to display on the page in any way. All right. So go ahead and hit enter, and we're going to type in several things here. Notice that we do need to close this comment tag out though, or it's going to, right now it's got everything commented out, not actually being used by the browser for text. So we will have to fix that, but let's go ahead and type in first. They want us to type new perspectives. Basically it's the book name. So new perspectives on HTML5 and CSS, comma, 8th edition. We'll press enter after that. We're going to type tutorial 1. We'll press enter after that. We're going to put tutorial case. All right. And we're going to, after that, type in general information about curbside tie. Under that, we're going to type author with a colon. And I want you to put in your name in there. So I'm going to type my name. You know, mine, you'll put yours in. And you want to put in the date that you're creating it. Okay, I'm going to put in the date that I am typing this, but it will definitely be after. When you're watching this video, it'll be definitely after I have typed this. All right. So put in the date for today. We're going to enter twice after that. And then I want you to type file name CT underscore about.html. Okay. And then enter it one more time. Okay. And we're actually going to close this comment out. So I want you to do 2 hyphens again and add that closing element there, and that should turn everything else back into what looks like HTML, regular HTML code. All right. So basically everything that's in this little comment section up here is the only thing it should be italicized, and it's the only thing it should be in this green color. Everything else should be your regular color. Okay. And that's all for tutorial 1 session 1.1. So now we will skip over. I'll be sure to save that, and we will skip over to session 1.2.